Watershed Story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours.
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Maddie Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint green. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
Welcome to Tiny's Under 10-Minute Tasting. That was Steve-O, Little Steve-O. Check out littlestevo.com. Wonderful musician. He did the opening for us here and the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I am Tiny of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We are a podcast group available on most podcast formats, actually all podcast formats. Where if you listen, also we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also Patreon. Check us out there, but you also can check us out on www.scotchybourbonboys.com for any needs. If you want to grab off that website one of these Scotchy Bourbon Boys Glencairn to get in. Also, we have t-shirts and other things. We have Scotchy Bourbon Balls. But tonight we're doing an under 10-minute tasting of Daviess County that is finished in French oak casks. Now, the Daviess County line of bourbon is distilled right now, being distilled at Luxco. John Rempe is the master distiller at Luxco right now. It was sourced from Heaven Hill initially, and then I believe they opened up their brand new distillery in 2019. But the bourbon was being sourced at Heaven Hill. But then John was actually contract distilling at Heaven Hill, and then transferred over to the new distillery. And honestly, Daviess County is one of my favorite bourbons. Just their straight bourbon, their blue labeled bourbon. When I first tasted that was a fantastic $39.99 bottle of bourbon. I suggested to anybody picking that bottle up. But what we have here is the Daviess County from I picked this up at the gift shop, but let me get my glasses on for this part. I'll give you a little bit of details on this particular bottle, and then we'll get into tasting. This one is a Daviess County limited edition Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in French oak cask. It's 96 proof, 48% ABV. It's heritage from 1874, a unique combination of 2 bourbon mash bills, a smooth wheated and a traditional rye for balanced sweetness and spice. It's made in Kentucky. It's a sour mash. And then here's a little history. This unique bourbon finished in French oak casks honors the rich history and tradition started in 1874 by the Daviess County Distilling Company, one of Kentucky's original distilleries that helped contribute to the state's reputation as the home of great bourbon. So that's what we're looking at for that. There's a little history, but let's get on to the tasting. I've got my tasting app, which is called the Whiskey Log. All right, cancel. Yep. All right. So what I do is I do 25 for nose, 25 for taste, 25 for finish, and 25 for body. That's the rating that we're going to go by here on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I also have my notebook that I do when I taste on all the podcasts and all the Whiskey Live tastings. Our next Whiskey Live is Friday, February 14th. We will be tasting Old Forester 1910 very fine whiskey. That will be live 9 p.m. on we go through Zavvi, but it'll be, look for that tasting either on YouTube or on Facebook. Now let's go to the Daviess County. Let's give this thing a pour. It's been open for a little bit. I've had a pour, but I'm excited about this because this is a nice pour. Now this glass, shout out to Martin Duffy, the North American Glencairn glass representative. He is also a Scotchy Bourbon Boy, and he helped us get these fine Glencairns that I'm tasting out of. When you're tasting out of Glencairn, I think I overdid it. Did I? Nope. You can roll the whiskey around in the Glencairn, which puts it all over, bring it up, and you can check out how it clings to the glass. And the legs, it's clinging there. This 96 proof is staying on the side. It's just clinging there. That's crazy. Now those are some thick legs dropping into some really thick legs. So that's really a nice body on there for a 96 proof. All right, let's do the nose. I'm getting a caramel, a little bit of oak, almost a little bit of a grape. I don't know why. A little licorice too, a little black licorice, just a little anise kind of. But then that's a complex nose. All right, let's see what happens here. Nice body. Oak, caramel, butterscotch on the finish. Nice. That's when I did the neck pour on this, I wasn't as impressed. It's probably sat for a good month and a half. I tasted that, but I like to open up the bourbons before I do the actual tastings because you get a little bit of oxygen in there, and it usually with most bourbons makes the bourbon taste a little bit better. I also like to come back to the nose because once you you've had it in there and you have that first part of the nosing, and then you taste and you add in the taste of the bourbon with the nose, changes the nose, and usually for the better. Some oak. Maybe a little banana, like bananas, just a little. Nice. I'm really loving this vanilla butterscotch finish. It's medium, not real long, but it's really good. One of the better finishes. All right, let's get to rating. So, initially, the nose on this, it's not a special nose. It's an average Kentucky bourbon nose, a little bit oakier than most, which you could bring out. So it's nice. So I'm going to give that nose a 17. Now, for taste, I like the taste of this bourbon. Let me give it a 20 on taste. I just like this bourbon. The French oak casks are adding a little bit more oakiness than what their regular bourbon is, and more caramely, but that oakiness is a complexity. It's not a bitter oak and it's not a sweet oak. It's a balanced oak, almost maybe a tobacco. No, it's oak. It's just a nice, pleasant oak. Nice hug, but it's not really spicy or hot. All right, so the body. Top of the mouth. It's about a 19 on the body. And then let's do the finish one time. I'm going to say that the finish on this is one of the better finishes. It's medium. I would give it 25 because it's medium. I'm going to give it a 23 on the finish. All right, so let's just do that on the app. 17, 20, 19, and 23. Which is a 79. We got a 79. Now the color of this is a nice color. We'll have just a little bit more. I think we're in the realm. It's a little bit between, it's probably between gold and amber, right in there. So just know an average bourbon to me is 50% on my rating scale. If I gave something a bourbon a 50%, that's just telling you that I like the bourbon, but it's nothing special. Whereas anything higher than that is over 75 if it's over 75, I recommend, if you see that bottle, I would say, and you have a similar palate to mine, because all palates are different, that you pick up a bottle, and this definitely is a winner at 79. So once again, everybody, remember, good bourbon equals good friends and good times. Go out there, live your life dangerously, and good night, everybody.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing, and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com.